client asked me the other day whether Uber and Lyft is a pyramid scheme, and honestly, that's a really good question. Now, the first thing that we need to discuss is the difference between a pyramid scheme and multi-level marketing. The difference is pretty small. In multi-level marketing, there's a product sold by salespeople, and they receive additional money if they recruit new people to sell things. Usually this is in the form of percentage of earnings, but it can also be in the form of a bonus. Multi-level marketing usually requires purchase of items that are then intended to be sold. These items can either be sold to customers or they can be sold to new people that you've roped in. Examples of companies that use multi-level marketing are Tupperware, Avon, Mary Kay, and Pampered Chef. There's a very interesting discussion that you could have about how these companies tend to prey on women, particularly because they often advertise that you can work from home, choose your own hours, things that are often attractive to stay-at-home mothers. Now, the only difference between a pyramid scheme and multi-level marketing is that a pyramid scheme has no real intention of selling product. The focus is much more on recruitment, and they are really just trying to get your money. Pyramid schemes are illegal in the US, Canada, and many other countries. One quick test is whether or not it's easy to sell back product that you were unable to sell. So does Uber and Lyft use multi-level marketing? In short, yes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. The way that Uber's recruitment bonuses work is the new driver has to complete a certain number of drives. Once they hit that number of drives, they receive X dollars. The number of drives and the amount that they receive is entirely dependent on what city they're located in. I've seen some as low as $10, and I've seen some as high as $1,000. But that amount is received in full once the person reaches that number of drives they're required to reach. The person who referred them also receives a certain amount of money once they hit that limit. The original driver who referred them is usually receiving a lower number than the new driver. For passenger referrals, drivers do not receive money. Instead, they receive rider credits. So if I wanted to go somewhere and someone has used my code, I might get $5 off on my ride. Now, the driver referral program on Lyft used to be set up like Uber's, but they actually changed it. Now, instead of receiving the lump sum once you've hit the number of drives, you have a certain time period in which to complete your drives, and during that time, you'll receive a certain amount for each drive that you do. So, for example, if you have to complete 100 drives to receive $350, you'll receive $3.50 for each drive that you do up until that point. And it's the same for the driver who referred you. For each drive that you do, they'll receive X dollars. For the passenger referral for Lyft, every time someone uses your code, you'll get $10. Now, an important difference is that you're never giving these companies any money directly. You could say that for each drive you are purchasing a product because they are taking 25%, but Uber and Lyft are not going to ask you to give them any money. The only things that you pay for are things that you do yourself, such as gas, car washes, the extra perks, seat covers. You're also not getting a percentage of what someone else would be earning. The driver that you referred isn't receiving less because you referred them. Companies that utilize multi-level marketing also tend to have these grandiose examples of people who have made millions selling their product. Now, first of all, those things just generally aren't true. But also, Uber and Lyft aren't really making those claims. They may say you can make $850 a week or something, but these aren't unattainable goals. No one is getting rich doing Uber and Lyft. In fact, Uber and Lyft are only just now starting to turn a profit. This is in part because of their referral programs. But now that they're doing upfront pricing shady practices, which I mentioned in a previous video and I'll link to at the end of this one and in the description, this is how they're going to be turning a profit very soon. But importantly, the focus for Uber and Lyft is definitely not on referring new drivers. In fact, drivers are kind of disincentivized from referring new drivers if they want to continue driving. A lot of drivers in an area are going to make it so you personally are getting fewer drives. So a lot of drivers see other drivers as competition. I personally don't, but I also am not the average driver in really most demographics. So even though it can be helpful for a small bonus, most people aren't really going to make a lot from it. Now, it's really important to be able to recognize when companies using multi-level marketing are trying to take advantage of you. The things that make multi-level marketing attractive are exactly the things that Uber and Lyft advertise. Make your own schedule, be your own boss. People who drive are also especially vulnerable for new multi-level marketing that pops up, trying to get you to wrap your car in advertisements or sell things in your car. These things can be good and people make a lot of money from them, but you have to be careful that you're not getting too sucked into the tell other people to do it aspect. When it comes down to it, if the product isn't something that you're comfortable selling, you shouldn't be bringing other people into it. I personally enjoy driving. I know lots of people who don't. People who don't enjoy driving shouldn't be trying to get other people to drive. I totally understand if the referral bonus part of Uber and Lyft makes people squeamish. But if you want to be a driver and you're signing up, you should be using a referral code. Otherwise, you're just not going to get that money. As always, my referral code can be found in many places, including the description. But if you're interested in supporting me in a more direct way, I have created a Patreon account. Patreon is a website where you can support content creators directly and often receive extra pieces of it. This is actually my second time recording this video, and the first time I recorded it, I had some weird things happen, so I'll probably be releasing part of that on my Patreon, if I actually have anyone sign up. if you want to. No pressure. It's just, you know, sometimes nice to support people that you like doing something that you like. Meh. I hope you have a great day, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me at munchkim@gmail.com. I'll always respond, unless you're a huge jerk. I'll probably still respond then and tell you that you're a huge jerk. Okay, bye.